Alright, boys, August the 4th, 9:14 a.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. The Mighty Manticore. The Mighty Manticore is unlike any other machine I've ever seen. It offers what I consider bonus detecting. What am I talking about? A little scenario here, you know. Okay, you got a schoolyard. Old schoolyard, you found some old coins in previously, maybe, or you've never even hunted it before, and you're going in there with a Mighty Manticore. I'm going to show the M9 coil here. So you can literally go into that schoolyard. You can even run the disc to knock out zinc and pennies if that's what you desire. You can run all-terrain high conductors. And in doing so, you could locate a target that you couldn't even find with this detector running it traditionally with all-terrain low conductors or all-terrain general. And that same target, swept the way you may strike it with this detector, there's a very high chance it may not be hit with any detector. Even some with smaller coils. So it's considered bonus detecting. You could dig a gold ring. You could dig an old nickel. An old relic. Okay. Now this is even if you decide to run a nickel window on this machine. You're still not going to hear possibly all the nickels in that sight that are detectable, locatable per call suite, directional, with the Mighty Manticore. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few demonstrations here. This will just be looked at. I will show all-terrain low conductor, but just, you'll see why. Okay, the old Manticore 23 sensitivity. All-terrain high conductors. We'll just keep it every cut. Well, I can go to speed 4. Maybe you're out there, you're looking for the deeper stuff. Alright? I'm going to toggle up here. You see that number 87? You notice I've got that box over there open. Okay? It's open. Now, I don't have a nickel window in this machine, okay? I don't have one. There's 2 nails, 2x4 thicknesses above that honker gold ring. Okay, now that's speed 4. I guess I should change the tones on this machine. We'll just go to one region, all tones. All right, here's speed 5. You hear that? See that meter, what it's reading and where it's painting? Now that's 2 nails. There's 1 nail. You hear that? Okay. Now, there's a nickel. I wonder if that's out there. An old nickel's laying around. You hear that? We go to all-terrain low conductors. Speed 5. For the upper ferrous limits of number 7. What do we get on that nickel? We don't get jack. You notice that? See where it's painting up there? All-terrain high conductors. You hear that? Now what's going to read up there, like that right there, on this machine exactly? Well, would you want to run this machine like this in the highest of iron sights? Well, it might not be a good idea necessarily, but what about sites that don't have a lot of iron but do have iron? Schoolyards, sports fields, parks. You see there? Bonus detecting. Now, when you rotate on this target, you see what happens. So you're not forced to dig it just because you've got a lure on it. Okay? Now, let's see what it does on that right there. You hear that? And look where it's reporting. Alright? So if we take this machine and we go over here to custom 1 with upper ferrous limit 7, that's a no-go. You see what I'm saying? So you get some bonus detecting, okay? I'm going to switch out here. The old square tab, okay? So the old square tab is in there. Now I'm going to go back over here to my little program. Okay. So we get it. You see that? So you could dig a junk target doing this. All right? You could dig a junk target. But you could also dig a target that nobody else from that direction can sweep. Now there's a big long piece of iron. See that? Look how long that is. What happens here on this nickel? Now let's change speed to 4. Let's change the speed to 6. You see where it's reporting up there. So that would make you suspicious. I mean, how many of those signals are you going to get in a site? Okay? You're not going to get very many, probably. And if it's a nuisance to you, you know, you can always go back to regular programming, can't you? What about that old concrete nail? Concrete nail in the nickel. Look what we got up there. You see that? Here's all-terrain general. Upper ferrous limit number 7, speed 6. You hear that? So you could be using this machine in all-terrain high conductors and hunt beside somebody who's went out there sweeping this machine in all-terrain general or all-terrain low conductors. And you might find something. All-terrain low conductors. Upper ferrous limit 7. You see that? You see that? All-terrain high conductors. You hear that? Okay, that's one region all tones. See where he's reporting up there. Okay, so now remember what I'm saying here. I could have the screen blocked out. We'll block it out right fast. Now, I'm not going to put a nickel window in there, okay? But you could have a nickel window and you wouldn't necessarily locate that nickel, depending on which way you swept. You still might not locate that nickel with a nickel window. The ID may be skewed where it comes outside of your nickel window. So I'm going over there. There's 66. So now you're out in the site like this looking for high conductive coins. Okay? But you get to hear that target. Even though you're not going to hear, if we cross this target. Now, if you heard this in a site and you're like, oh, that interests me. Oh, that could be a mass target that somebody's missed. You don't know the quality of it. Now, you can mash the horseshoe button and you're going to see that ID. And you see where it's painted. Uh-oh, non-ferrous target. All likelihood. Let's dig it. So you wouldn't be necessarily using this machine like this with all of this disc in it. You see, when you cross this, 0. But you're out there, your real main mission is to look for high conductive coins. But you get a sneak peek at some mass lower conductors by leaving that window open right there that are masked. Okay? Bonus detecting, that's what I call it. Alright? You don't get to do this with any other machine, I don't think. Alright? Now the nail size and the shape and size of the non-ferrous is going to drive it. Generally coin shaped, and now you see how that square tab performed. Now if the nail gets so small and the lower conductor like this ring in this nail, I'll give you an example here. There's a smaller nail. See it there? And that smaller gold ring. See, this is not fail-safe. This is not to answer every solution to your problem. See there? See where it's reporting? It's tied up. Okay? It's tied up. But that big old long, and I showed you like multiple nails. What about 2 nails up here like so? There's 2 nails. We're going to sweep. Notice you don't hear anything. You see where those nails are reporting. Alright. So now there goes the nickel. It's in there. Okay, we don't hear it there. Okay. Let's see what happens here. What happens here? Okay, you don't get it there. Okay. There's speed 5. Okay. So now we've got the nickel below that nail. What happens here now? Well, that's pretty high above that board there. Above the nail. If we shift the nickel farther under, what happens? Okay, we don't hear it. We're going to bring it a little further out. What happens? You see there, we start getting it again. You see what it's doing. Okay, now what happens here if we go to all-terrain, low conductors, upper ferrous limit 7, speed 5. Coming in down here in the lower ferrous limit. You see that? Okay, so what about all-terrain general? Recovery speed 5, upper ferrous limit 7. You see there? See where I'm sweeping that? I'm sweeping that with all-terrain general, upper ferrous limit 7. All-terrain high conductors with a sharpshooter custom upper ferrous limit. You hear that? Okay, so it is bonus detecting, and it will do things that even conventional run, like upper ferrous limit 7, 8, and 9 on this machine, even upper custom ferrous limits number 6, won't do in some of these other programs versus the all-terrain high conductor. Okay. You understand? I don't know if this is not talked about in the user's manual. And is this detector behavior, was this a clear intention with my lab engineers? I don't know. But it is a detector tendency that a person could take advantage of. And like I said, you're not going to read the manual and see this. To be honest with you, I have not seen any other YouTuber talk about this. Talking about the Manticore. You know? Look, I don't talk fluff with metal detectors. You know? You're not going to see me sitting at some damn desk with a bunch of damn boxes of detectors propped up behind my ass. You know, telling you how great every damn detector is. I ain't teaching anybody anything, and that's not sharing good information. This is good information right here. If I went to a sports field and I was looking for some higher conductor, deeper coins, well, I get to bonus detect for some mass lower conductors. And I get to rotate when alerted. Now, disclaimer here, in case you're wondering. Yes, you can rotate on a target when it comes in that upper right screen on that detector like I've got it set up. Just because you rotate and the ID doesn't come down more traditionally reporting low conductor, if it doesn't do that, does that mean it's iron? The answer is no. I've looked at this machine. You could have an iron arrangement with a lower conductor like a nickel, where you could even rotate and the machine is still reporting up in the upper right section. Just be advised. So I wouldn't say it's not zero odds if it doesn't come down when you rotate. I could show you here even with the nails I have here, but I won't. You can take my word for it. I'm not lying to nobody. So, you know, is this going to be a nuisance for you if you use this? Well, you get to try it. It's real easy to go back to regular programming. How about that? Nice, ain't it? You get to try it to see, well, sharpshooter on to something here? Do your own test. Go out and use it. Go out and compare it on some signals. Maybe you'll get over one of these targets. And then when you start switching modes, running typical 7 or 8 upper ferrous limits, and you don't like, wait a minute, I'm not hearing anything. Or the signal is real shoddy. Something you might not dig, you're like, oh. Or you rotate on it and you see the ID come down and it's reporting more traditionally in that 2D screen and the ID to boot. So yeah, you know, this machine with its custom upper ferrous limits makes this a better machine. If it didn't have that, this machine would not be as good as, you know, it has a lot more capabilities. It's more versatile. That's going to conclude the video. I hope you enjoyed.